Frederic Bastiat was a prominent French economist who developed many economic ideas and concepts we still use to this day, such as the concept of an opportunity cost. He was a strong advocate of classical liberalism and the economics of Adam Smith. He wrote most of his important works a few years before and after the French Revolution of 1848, during which France's economic and political sectors began to see a shift towards socialism. He is well known for his works in philosophy, politics, and political economy. One of his most famous works is The Law, which he wrote shortly before he succumbed to tuberculosis in 1850. The book describes a just system of laws and demonstrates how such laws facilitate a free society. It also investigates what happens in a society when the law becomes a weapon used by those in power to control and enslave the population. It also discusses what legalized plunder is and the downfalls of it. So what is the proper function of the law? Bastiat proposed that the function of laws is to prevent certain actions which bring harm to individuals and their property. He goes on to say that the function of the law is to prevent injustice from prevailing rather than to make justice prevail. Bastiat backs his viewpoint by stating, "It is not justice, but injustice that has an existence of its own. The first results from the absence of the second." Bastiat states that each individual has the right to defend his person, his liberty, and his property, and that the law becomes perverse when it punishes one's right to self-defense of their life, liberty, and property in favor of another's right to legalize plunder. Legalized plunder is described by him as one of the most common and serious dangers that occurs when a government oversteps its boundaries. So a quote that Bastiat used on how to identify legalized plunder was, "But how is this legal plunder to be identified? Quite simply. See if the law takes from some persons what belongs to them and gives it to other persons to whom it does not belong. See if the law benefits one citizen at the expense of another by doing what the citizen himself cannot do without committing a crime." Basically, what he's stating by saying that is that any time that the law is used to force an individual to transfer their goods to another individual, that can be considered legalized plunder. Bastiat believed that the main motivational factor for legal plunder was the desire to obtain wealth in the easiest way possible. He did, however, believe that not all individuals who commit legalized plunder do so for selfish reasons, arguing that some commit it because they believe that by taking wealth and property from some, that they will be able to help those in need. But ironically, them doing what they see to be a just act, in fact, perpetuates inequality and injustice. What we can take away from Bastiat's The Law is that there is a proper role and function for the government to perform, and that there are certain boundaries that should not overstep, and that once it oversteps said boundaries, such as protecting an individual's property and committing legalized plunder, then there is nothing to keep the government from overstepping other boundaries. And as such, we have a responsibility to stay knowledgeable about the activities of our government and actively work to ensure that it does not cross any boundaries or limitations.